Welcome back, guys, to game number 4 between our two Protoss players. And this time, we are going to be on World of Sleepers. Starting things off on the top right, we are going to have the red Protoss. That is Kun, aka Malaysia's Ranger. One map ahead already against his opponent. Representing Indonesia, it's going to be the purple Protoss of Enrique, aka Quantel instead. The World of Sleepers, a long time map in the ladder to begin with, has already gotten that significant change onto that third base to turn it back into a green geyser instead of a purple one. Interesting to note, there is no second geyser, so why would you expand here besides aggressive positioning? I do not know. For me, personally, it is a lot safer to go here onto that third instead. You get two geysers, you stay on that high ground with the ramp, and it is always essential to have that defender's advantage. But I digress, we are going to be in the PvP. Last game, we saw a little bit of cheesy antics there from Quantel and got shut down pretty hard by another surgical strike into the economy of that purple Protoss Ranger. Sending in those adepts, the Stalkers unable to keep up, and that was like 10 probe kills to start things off. Forced Quantel to go on an all-in scenario. But a good defense from Ranger allows him to stay alive, keep up in the game, and eventually take that W. So a 2-1 case here. Our Malaysian guy just one map away from getting a date against Singapore's Blisk in the lower bracket semifinals. In the meantime, here go with the probes yet again, looking to set up some proxy pylons. It seems like it's gonna be a duel to the death. You can see someone is gonna be on the light side, someone on the dark, but it is gonna be Quantel disengaging. Doesn't want to lose this probe anytime soon. Ranger, in the meantime, he knows that his opponent is gonna do the same thing. Will look for opportunities to set up these pylons to begin with. In the meantime, we are gonna get similar timings, of course, with our Cybernetics core. And the second gateway comes up here and now for Ranger. Quantel, though, onto Warp Gate just a little ahead. Seems like he already has a proper idea with his build order. In the meantime, Ranger looking to the side what he's gonna go for in this fight. Will he go for that Stargate opening yet again? Will he go for Robo Facility and play the ground game? Will he go for that early expansion in this PvP? It seems like it is gonna be the expansions case by the 3-minute mark. Sure, in PvP, there is always the risk of getting cheesed pretty hard, so it isn't as quick of an expansion compared to facing off against the other races. Still though, I believe Ranger saw that one coming. Yeah, the pylon is spotted. Still though, the pylon here from Ranger actually gonna get finished up, and the Stalkers will be able to get a building for free. Now, unfortunately, it's 100 minerals going down the drain here for both sides. And interesting antics here from Quantel. He's looking to get the warp cycle on from the opposite end of the mineral field. But just getting that little bit of a vision, Ranger is already on it. He's expecting his opponents to do all these cheesy antics. And Quantel not giving up. Second pylon now being built. So it really is all about that cheese in PvP, isn't it? It's like, I can be wrong, sure, there have been amazing macro games, but there are so many ways to end things up by the proxy building strategy, just on any all-ins with quick build compositions, getting a lot of mech quickly, getting an upgrade out of nowhere. And that's what you can notice really about the Protoss. Timing attacks sure are important for everyone. As soon as a upgrade comes online, it surprises your opponent. But at the same time, with the Protoss, when you have a certain unit, you can actually just go already, like the Immortal. It's a very good checkpoint to decide to go for the aggression to begin with. In the meantime though, the pylon now being hampered here, and now it seems like the Stalker Brigade will decide to turn things around and get that takedown. They even turn around to just kill that probe, not even looking at the corpse. Cool guys, don't look at explosions. And into some sentries we go. Interesting enough, by the 4-minute mark, we are still seeing Quantel go for that second base, but he is also building a Robo Bay in behind. Already has the Immortal. Will this be Disruptors, or will this be a Colossus up in the air? In terms of the composition right now, I would love to see more Disruptor versus Disruptor, Ball versus Ball, Tango versus Tango, Nova versus Nova. Who will get the purification first? But the Colossus, of course, is a more stable DPS, but maybe against this armored composition might not be the best unit. It is so easy to take care of one Colossus, especially if the laser DPS isn't enough to begin with. In the meantime though, Stalker's on the outside. Here we go now with the Phoenix being hallucinated in rather. And apparently the Adepts will go for the attack. You can't have a range game without Adepts hampering your middle line to begin with. Psionic Transfer will get cancelled, interesting enough. And the Warp Prism going for the rescue. Still though, the hallucinated Phoenix will do no damage. And it seems like Ranger feeling confident. Okay, I'm not taking anything, so I guess I'm fine. 4 probes do go down, but the Stalker Brigade, yet again, going for the assassination. Surgical strike onto that Warp Prism. Enough DPS to get the takedown. And these guys bullying pros, bullying Warp Prisms. Apparently, they get their kicks, taking down these units that don't really attack back. Still though, Ranger looking to avenge the fallen Warp Prism will be sending out a scouting expedition on the outset. He is gonna go for a Robo Bay as well, but in the meantime, I believe that Adzep will get the scout. Does it get the scout? Still doesn't see that Robo Bay onto that mineral line. It goes yet again, but will a Titan emerge out of the shadows? As yes, it does. There you go with the Colossus exposing Quantel. And this is actually absolutely unfortunate here for Quantel. Second time his Robo did not get scouted, but as soon as the Colossus is ready, raring and go, that's gonna be an immediate target. And Ranger's like, okay, I'm not gonna fight that right now, I'm gonna back on out. Honestly, could have been an ace in the hole, ace in the sleeve there for our boy Quantel. Just like not gonna be the case in this scenario. He is looking for extended thermal lance. That extra range will allow that Colossus to be safer than a Sorry. But in the meantime, Chrono boosting out this Disruptor. The Disruptor, of course, a lot quicker to produce compared to the Colossus. So it really is a good emergency unit to get some extra DPS going. But Ranger right now in a defender situation. If he's unable to stay safe into this one, that might be the show. Beautiful force field though to start things off. Gets the load on in. The Stalkers are safe, but oh, that's going to be another Stalker going down. Force fields are abound. But in the meantime, here we go with the Disruptor already on the north-hand side. He's looking for a Nova opportunity into the Colossus, perhaps. No, never mind, the Sentry! And the Stalker is gonna get taken down instead. That's 4 units, I believe, blowing on up. And that one Zealot out in front. Here we go yet again with Disruptor, but it is gonna get microed potentially to its demise. It will go down. Colossus getting some free DPS from behind. But overall, Quantel not really in the best scenario by this point in time. The Warp Prism trying to get away will get taken down. The Colossus now will get surrounded. The Immortal still alive, barely breathing. And that is going to be Ranger defending well. The Disruptors, like I said, absolute key emergency units. When you get some good Novas on, you are going to be rewarded so well. But also at the same time, if the Disruptor just runs in the way to begin with, just runs out in front, then it will get no damage done. But tit for tat, the big one there was the 4 Stalkers rather, and the 1 Sentry going down in that first Nova to start off that fight. And now this is going to be Ranger knocking onto that natural. Quantel cannot call it quits early this time. If he loses this match, that is going to be game, set, and done. Best of 5 in this scenario, and here comes Quantel yet again. He will send in another Colossus though to go on down. Stalkers gonna be on the north hand side trying to get away from those thermal lances to begin with. The Immortal trying to get hits as well, and this might be this tall hulking construct going down soon. Anyway, safely in behind those Stalkers. You want to keep this Colossus safe as much as possible. Adept trying to get into that main base yet again. Gonna be going for that transfer, and the Colossus will fall. Does the warp happen? Seems like it's not the case. But anyway, Ranger, yet again, standing tall, will decide to go for this Nexus. 7 army to 25. This game might be over by this point unless this Disruptor from Quantel can turn things around. Observer though gonna be going up on top. We'll be seeing the next reinforcement cycle here and now from our Purple Protoss. And Ranger knows that the noose is tightening on his opponent. He'll decide, okay, I'm gonna play it safe. I don't want to walk into any kind of antics. I believe that Observer also allowing him to make a better decision in that one. If he got stuck by the ramp and that Nova got all those Stalkers, then we are going to be back on an even playing field. So safety is going to be Ranger's modus operandi into this one. He isn't the one on the ropes. He can just slowly but surely take care of his opponents. And for the time being, getting richer and richer. Almost times 4 in that army supply. In the meantime, he's still ahead on that 2 base, can go for a 3rd. And he's gonna do the same thing. He's gonna decide, okay, you tried to do this on me, I'm gonna try to do it on you. Proxy Pylon in behind that mineral line, and I believe it will be enough to get some warp cycles on, especially with the Warp Prism there to put people up. And you can also go for a warp cycle in behind the mineral line to begin with. Adepts right now gonna go for the transfer. It's the evacuation point. And here comes the Stalkers looking to intercept. Will it be enough? 3 workers have gone down already. That's the load yet again. And buckle up, buckaroos. It's the Warp Prism showing everyone how it's done this time across the mineral field. And honestly, World of Sleepers, no one really uses these minerals to begin with, but I guess in these antics, it works out in their favor. Disruptor right now floating, just a witness to all these probes going down. The Adepts right now going to the high ground, doesn't want to deal with Immortal to begin with. And on to the main base we go, but Quantel is micro slipping into a Forge Tech. We go here for Ranger, but overall, it seems like Ranger just having his opponent's number so far. These Adepts should go down to begin with. I think the Warp Prism also fell thanks to the vision of the Observer. But 6 pros go down, and now here comes trouble. His name is Ranger, and he's hungry for a date in the semifinals. He's been showing that he's been absolutely clutch so far. Quantel, though, spots out that pylon, and now it's do and die. Here for our Indonesian player, this Disruptor is going to be the main focus of this whole attack. But it's going to be a two-prong attack, and Quantel might get caught here as Ranger has decided to send everything on the West Quadrant instead. Big hit onto those Stalkers, but Disruptor needs to stay alive. 3 kills already. Will it be enough? The Force Wheel's putting it in a bad spot, and this might be time here and now for Ranger to just go hog wild and gets enough DPS going to begin with. Disruptor now executed on the spot, and the Stalker's trying to get on the way, buy some time for the rest of the units to reinforce. Absolute heroes, these Stalkers, but Ranger can afford to actually split his RB up to go onto that natural as well as go for any stragglers to begin with. Recall right now is popped, and it's time for the all-army command to bring everyone together. Although that pylon will go down, and that Nexus next on the list. Ranger looking so strong right now. He's just standing tall, and by this point, it has to be huge Novas from Quantel, or this is going to be game 7 match. He's stuck on 1 base still, as his opponent is going for a 3. Beautiful Nova there, but it just isn't going to be enough. The numbers here, the numbers Mason, way too much. Force field right now to force the funnel onto the Adepts. The Zealots don't care. They're willing to go in close. And right now, can the Disruptor get another Nova? It's still on cooldown. Second Nexus does go down. And Quantel's dreams to move into the semifinals, just getting dashed yet again every single time that Nexus falls. And we are going to get some Templar Archives, High Temp on the way into Archons, potentially some drops. And look at that army count. 2 Adepts, 1 Stalker, 1 Disruptor, 1 Sentry versus a lot more from Ranger. In the meantime, upgrades-wise, we do have a charge lot here for Ranger. Allows him and his Zealots to get closer. And apparently, Quantel decides he's going to be looking for an opening. Wants to go for the attack. Zealots, though, charging on him. +1 is here. And now, a Disruptor might be falling. GG, well played. Grabs is called. Beautiful. Beautiful stuff from both of our players. But in the end, Ranger moves on to have a date against Bliss, who pretty much dominated his side of the bracket versus Nux and against his fellow countryman Lobo. We are going to get PvP yet again, guys, and such a good showing here from these 2 Protoss players. Ranger, though, able to stay ahead, and I feel just having that advantage hampering the economy to begin with was a big one for him.